The storm broke 3 days later, revealing Viridian's crimson sky in patches between retreating clouds. The storm hit without warning, at the outpost transforming Viridian's crimson sky into a wall of swirling
Debris
black
scattered
clouds.
across the terrain,
Dax Voren
testament
cursed
to the
as he
storm's
sprinted
fury,
toward the
but the
abandoned
caustic
research
rain had
outpost.
stopped.
His scavengers
We can make it to
bouncing
Haven
painfully
Settlement by
against his
nightfall
spine.
if we leave now.
3 years on
he
this
said,
forsaken
turning to
colony
Thella.
world had taught him to
She
read
stood
the weather,
adjusting the
but
salvaged
this
equipment
tempest
had
had
outpaced
outpaced
even his
her
practiced
movements now
instincts.
familiar to him in ways
Lightning
he couldn't have
cracked across
imagined
the
when they
alien
first met.
landscape,
Illuminating
Are you
the
certain I
twisted
will be
metal
welcome?
structure ahead,
She asked,
once a
hesitation
promising
evident
frontier
in her
science
voice.
station. Now
Dax
just another
crossed toward
failed
taking
human
her
endeavor
hands
on
in
a
his.
planet that seemed
Haven
determined
needs
to
people with
reject
your
them.
knowledge.
There are
The
systems
winds
we barely
screamed between
understand,
the corroded
agricultural
panels,
techniques
carrying
that could
stinging
benefit from
particles of
Verlathi
metallic
expertise
dust
that could strip flesh from
squeezed her
bone
hands.
if he remained
And I want you
exposed
there
much
with
longer.
me.
The
Days
days
of
of
their
shouldered his
shelter
way
had
through the
transformed
partially
what
collapsed
began
entrance,
as simple
the
kindness
frame
into
groaning
something
in
neither
protest.
could deny.
Inside,
Their
he shook
differences,
droplets of caustic rain
physiological,
from his protective
cultural,
gear,
historical,
the liquid
had
sizzling
become
where it hit
points
the
of floor.
fascination rather than
Home,
division.
sweet home,
He muttered.
my people have a
Activating
saying,
his
Thella
portable
said
heater
softly.
as he surveyed
The
the
path
familiar
chosen
ruins.
alone must be walked
He'd used
without
this
regret.
outpost as a way
Her
station before
multifaceted
during
eyes
his
met his.
salvage hunts
I
for
chose
abandoned
exile
technology.
once. I am not afraid to choose
The
it
faint
again.
scraping sound from the corner
They set out
nearly
across the
stopped his
rain-soaked
heart.
landscape.
Dax's
leading
hand
the way
flew to his
through pulse
terrain he knew
rifle.
well. Years of survival
Thella
instinct
moved with
taking over before
surprising
conscious
agility
thought.
despite her different
Who's there?
physiology.
His voice
Occasionally
echoed in the
pointing out
cavernous
plant
chamber.
species.
Show
with
yourself
medicinal
nice and
properties
slow.
humans had overlooked.
Something shifted in
The
the
outer
shadows.
biodome
A
of
form
Haven Settlement
uncurling from
appeared on the
behind a
horizon by
toppled
late
console.
afternoon.
Dax
A gleaming
tightened his
hemisphere
grip on the
against
weapon,
Viridian's
then
rusty
froze
planes.
as the figure emerged
Dax
into the
felt a
weak
surge
light
of
of his lamp.
optimism as they approached.
She was
The
unmistakably
settlement had always
Verlathi,
prided itself
one of the
on
indigenous
pragmatism.
species of Viridian,
Surely they would
rarely
see
seen
Thella's
by
value.
human colonists.
Her
Perimeter
skin was a
sentries
pale
spotted them
lavender
half a
that seemed to
kilometer
shimmer
out.
with an internal
The alarm
luminescence.
klaxon, normally
Large,
reserved for
multifaceted
dangerous
eyes
wildlife
regarded
or
him with
extreme
what he
weather,
could only
shattered the
interpret as
calm.
terror.
Dax
She was
swore
soaked
under
through.
his breath.
Her membranous outer
Stay
covering
behind me,
clinging to a
he
frame
told
that
Thella,
seemed
whose
painfully
posture
thin,
had shifted
even
to
alert
alert
wariness.
species.
Armed
Don't
guards
shoot,
met
she
them
said
at the
in
halting
halting
standard,
rifles raised.
Please. Commander Briggs,
Dax
Haven's
lowered his
security
weapon
chief,
slowly,
stepped forward with
confusion replacing
undisguised
fear.
suspicion. The Verlathi were
What the hell are you
notoriously
thinking,
secretive,
Voren?
living
Briggs
in
demanded,
sealed underground
bringing one of them
communities
here.
far from human settlements.
She needs asylum.
This one looked
Dax
barely into
explained,
adulthood
keeping his
by
voice
their
level.
standards. She's been exiled
What are you
from her
doing out
people.
here?
She has
He asked,
valuable
keeping his
knowledge that could
distance.
help us. Nowhere else
Murmurs
to go,
spread
she
through the
replied,
gathering
her
crowd.
translator device
Most colonists
crackling
had
with
never
static.
seen a Verlathi
Exiled
up close.
3 cycles now. The council needs
Thunder
to hear
boomed
this.
outside,
Someone
making her
called from the
flinch.
back. Dax noticed
2
she was
hours later,
shivering
Dax
violently,
stood beside
her
Thella
lavender
in
skin
Haven's
taking
taking
on
on
a
a
dangerous
as the
bluish
settlement's
tinge.
5-person
Against his
council
better
deliberated
judgment,
her
he
fate.
unslung his pack
The room
and pulled out his
buzzed with
thermal
tension
blanket and
with
whispered
only
speculation. Here,
The
he said,
Verlathi
holding
have
it
made
out,
their position
"You're half
clear,"
frozen, Counselor Merritt argued.
She stared at the offering,
They want
then at
nothing
him
to do with us.
uncomprehending.
How do we know
Her
this isn't
translator sparked
infiltration?
again.
Why would you?
I've told you why I was exiled.
Because you need it more than I
Thella
do right
responded,
now.
her voice
Dax
steady
replied
despite
simply.
the hostility
When she
directed
didn't
at her.
move, he approached
My
cautiously
crime was
and draped the
advocating for
blanket around her
cooperation
shoulders.
between our species.
She tensed at his nearness,
Convenient story.
then relaxed
Another
as the blanket's
counselor
heating
remarked
elements
coldly.
activated, spreading
Dax
warmth
stepped
through
forward.
her trembling form.
I vouch for her.
She
Her
saved
eyes,
my life
all
during the
6 of them,
storm, widened in what might have been
Your
gratitude.
judgment is clearly compromised,
I'm Dax,
Voren,
he said,
Merritt
stepping
countered,
back
his
to give her
gaze
space.
flicking between them.
The
Thella,
nature
she
of your
responded, clutching the
relationship
blanket tighter,
has not gone
My
unnoticed.
name is Thella.
Uncomfortable
Thella,
silence
looks like
fell
we're both
across
stuck
the chamber
here
until this storm
Dax
passes.
felt a flush of
Could
anger
be all
and
night.
embarrassment.
He gestured
Thella
to the
straightened.
portable heater. Her luminescent
I've got enough
skin
charge to
pools
keep us
slightly
both
with
from
emotion
freezing.
and some rations if you're
Is this
hungry.
the cooperation you feared,
She watched him
Counselor?
warily, but
She
the
asked
mention of
quietly.
food seemed to overcome
That we
her
might
caution.
see each other as
Thank
people
you,
rather
she
than
said.
threats.
It has been
Many
Counselor
days since I
Isabel
ate
Chen,
properly.
Haven's agricultural
As Dax
director,
set up a
cleared
makeshift
her
camp
throat.
in the center of the room,
The Verlathi
he couldn't
have
help stealing
agricultural
glances
techniques
at his
that could
unexpected
increase our
companion.
yields by 30%.
There was something in her eyes,
if she's willing to share
a depth
that
of
knowledge,
intelligence
and emotion that
At what
transcended
cost?
species
Interrupted
barriers.
Merritt.
It made
The
him
first
wonder what
Verlathi
could drive
defector
someone
just
like her
happens
into
to
appear
exile,
now when resources
alone
are
in an
stretched
environment
thin.
hostile to
This
her
could be the
physiology.
prelude to something worse. The storm raged outside.
The debate
but
continued
in that
for
moment,
another hour,
Dax felt a
growing
peculiar
increasingly
warmth
heated.
that had nothing to do
Finally,
with his heater.
Council leader Tomas
For the first
rendered
time
the
in
verdict.
years, he wasn't
wasn't facing
You can
the night
remain
alone.
temporarily under supervision.
The storm showed
he
no
told
signs
Thela.
of relenting
But
as
you'll
night
be
deepened
restricted
on
to the
Viridian.
agricultural dome
Dax
and
added
separate
the last
quarters.
of his fuel
No
blocks
free
to the
movement
portable
through the
heater.
settlement.
Watching as Thela
And
cautiously
if I refuse
consumed the
these
nutrient
conditions,
pack he'd
Thela
offered.
asked,
Her movements were precise.
then you cannot stay.
Almost
Tomas
elegant
replied
despite her
simply.
obvious exhaustion.
Later in the small
Your
processing
food is
room,
different,
Dax
she
found
said, examining the
staring
wrapper.
at the biodome
But good,
ceiling.
thank you.
Her expression unreadable.
Dax settled across from her.
It's not
the
ideal,
heater casting
he admitted,
dancing shadows
but it's a
across
start.
the abandoned
They'll come
outpost.
around when they see what you can
speak
offer.
our language well.
Most
Will they?
Verlathi
She
I've
asked
encountered
softly.
barely
Or
acknowledge
will I
humans
always be
exist?
the alien, the potential threat?
Thela's
She turned to face
multifaceted
him.
eyes reflected
And you?
the heater's glow.
Will you always be
I
the
was a
human who brought
communication
danger to your
specialist.
home?
My function was to study
Dax
your
had no
kind.
answer. she hesitated.
The connection they'd
That is
forged in
partly why I am
isolation
here
now
now.
faced a reality neither
Exiled
had fully
for talking to
considered.
humans,
A reality
raised
where
an
their
eyebrow.
differences mattered in ways
For suggesting
they
we
hadn't during the
should.
storm.
She pulled the thermal
I should
blanket
never have
tighter
brought you
around
here,
her shoulders.
he said finally.
My people
I
believe
was thinking of what I
isolation is
wanted,
safety.
not what you would face.
I argued that partnership could
No,
benefit
Thela
both
said, taking
species
his
on
hand.
this difficult
You
world.
offered what humans value most,
Outside,
a home.
the wind
Acceptance.
howled like
That is
a
not a
wounded
small
animal.
thing.
Her
Dax had
eyes
never
held
heard
his.
of Verlathi
But
speak
perhaps
so
neither of us
candidly.
truly has a home
Most
anymore.
maintain their species' secrecy
A month
with
passed in
religious
strange
devotion.
disconnection.
How
Dax
long have you been
resumed
out
his
here
salvage
alone?
runs,
He asked.
each departure from Haven
90
settlement bringing
rotations,
simultaneous
she replied.
relief and
Nearly
emptiness.
one full cycle
Thela
of the third
remained in
moon.
the agricultural dome.
Dax
her
whistled
knowledge
low.
already proving
That's a long
valuable
time
as
to survive
modified
the
crops
Viridian
flourished
wilderness.
under her care.
I
They
learned
saw
much
each other
from
only
observing
during
your
his
kind.
brief returns.
A different
conversation
entered her
stilted
voice,
under the
something
watchful
almost
eyes
like
of security
admiration.
personnel.
Humans are remarkably
Haven's counsel
adaptable.
remained
You survive
divided on
where
her
logic
presence.
says you should not.
Some, like Counselor
We're
Chen,
stubborn that way.
advocated for
Dax said
expanding
with a half
Thela's
smile.
role.
The
Others
colony nearly
maintained their
collapsed twice
suspicion,
before we
pointing
figured out
to
how to grow
increased
crops in
Verlathi
this soil.
activity near human territory.
Thela leaned
since her
forward
arrival.
slightly. Tell me about
They're
your colony
searching
for
for
life
me,
there.
Thela explained when
Dax
Dax
found
mentioned
himself
the reports.
describing Haven's
To my
settlement.
people,
My
the
sharing of
interconnected
knowledge is a
biodomes,
betrayal of our
the
evolutionary
careful balance
advantage.
of resources.
The community
They stood
that
among
had formed from the
experimental
remains
crop
of a
rows,
corporate mining
the humid
expedition,
air of the
abandoned
agricultural
by
dome
Earth
fogging
decades
the
ago.
observation windows.
He told her about his work as a
them.
salvager,
Dax
recovering
resisted the
technology
urge
from
to touch
failed
her,
outposts
aware
to
of the
keep the
scrutiny
colony's
they
systems
faced.
running. Are you happy
And
here?
you?
He asked
quietly.
eventually. What's it like living
Happy, she
underground with
repeated
your
as if
people?
testing the concept.
Thela's expression shifted.
Useful. That
Her
would
features
satisfy most
rearranging
of my
what might have
kind.
been nostalgia.
But not
Beautiful.
you.
Our cities are
Thela's
carved
skin
from living
rippled
crystal.
with subtle color
Light travels
changes.
through pathways
An emotional
that sustain our
response
crops.
he'd learned to
Everything
read during their
connected,
time
nothing
together.
wasted. I have
Sounds
learned that
more
usefulness
advanced than
and
our haphazard
fulfillment are different
setup,
states,
Dax
she
observed.
admitted. I miss
Different,
the freedom
she
we
corrected.
found in that outpost.
Your adaptability has value
The warning
too.
sirens
My
began
people
at
cannot
dusk 3
conceive
days
of changing
later.
ourselves to
Dax
suit
was
our
loading
environment.
his salvage
We can
vehicle
only
when the
change
sky
our
darkened
environment
prematurely.
leave.
Another
The
superstorm,
conversation flowed
forming
more
faster
easily
than the
as the night
settlement's
progressed.
meteorologists had predicted.
Dax shared stories of his
This one
scavenging
dwarfed the
expeditions,
tempest that had
while
first
Thela
brought him and
described
Thela
Verlathi
together.
customs and beliefs.
Emergency protocols
When she laughed
engaged.
at one of his jokes,
The biodome
a trilling
sealed.
sound unlike
Power
anything he'd
systems
heard before.
diverted to structural
Dax felt
integrity.
an unexpected
Colonists
warmth
rushed
thread
to
through his chest.
reinforced shelters as winds
the hours
slammed
passed,
against the transparent
Thela's initial
barriers.
wariness gave way to curiosity.
Dax fought his way to the
She asked
agricultural
questions
dome,
about human
where
emotions,
Thela and other
relationships,
were frantically
customs
securing
that seemed
experimental
foreign.
crops. The building shuddered ominously as external sensors registered wind speeds approaching dangerous thresholds. The eastern support structure is compromised, the facility AI announced calmly. Evacuation recommended. Chaos erupted as workers fled toward the connecting corridor. Security personnel grabbed Thela's arm. Alien quarters are in the opposite direction, one shouted over the rising noise. That sector is directly beneath the compromised supports, Dax argued, pushing forward. She comes with us. Orders are orders, the guard insisted. The decision crystallized in Dax's mind with sudden clarity. Then I'm going with her. Ignoring the guard's protests, he pulled Thela toward the exit. Instead of turning toward the main shelter, however, he led her to his salvage vehicle in the maintenance bay. What are you doing? She asked as he sealed the reinforced doors. Making a choice, he replied, engaging the engine. This vehicle can withstand the storm. We're leaving. Leaving Haven, her multifaceted eyes widened. To go where? Dax programmed coordinates into the navigation system. Remember the abandoned terraforming station in the Eastern Valley, the one I told you about. Understanding dawned on her face. The underground complex, self-sufficient systems. Remote enough that neither your people nor mine will bother us. He met her gaze. If that's what you want. The maintenance bay doors opened to howling chaos. Thela placed her hand over his on the controls. My people believe all life seeks equilibrium, she said. Perhaps this is ours, neither fully of your world nor mine, but something new. They drove into the storm together, the vehicle fighting against gale force winds. Communication channels erupted with demands for their return, then faded to static as distance and interference severed the connection to Haven. Hours later, they reached the abandoned station, a partially collapsed surface structure hiding an intact underground facility originally designed to house dozens of terraforming scientists. Its automated systems hummed to life as they entered, responding to human biosignatures after years of dormancy. That night, as the storm raged on the surface, they lay together in a room that belonged to neither of their worlds. Thela's skin glowed faintly in the darkness, illuminating Dax's face as he traced the contours of her body. "We are exiles now," she whispered, "both of us." "Or pioneers," he countered, kissing her gently. "Maybe someday others will understand what we've discovered." "And what have we discovered?" she asked, her fingers exploring the familiar terrain of his chest. Dax thought about the question, about the journey from that first meeting in the storm to this moment of chosen isolation together. "That connection transcends biology," he said finally. "That understanding can become belonging. That different doesn't mean separate." Outside, the winds of Viridian howled their judgment. But inside their sanctuary, Dax and Thela had found something neither had believed possible. A home defined not by place or species, but by the space between two beings who had chosen each other despite everything their worlds had taught them. As they moved together in the darkness, their bodies finding harmony despite their differences, the truth of what they'd created settled between them. Not just survival, but a life neither would have found alone. Retry Claude can make mistakes. Please double-check responses.